It's time for another episode of Peter Sidwell's Kitchen. Today, I've got a corker of a recipe for you. Big boy meatballs poached in beefsteak Malbec wine with ricotta. It is absolutely delicious. You can get the recipe from my new book coming soon. A delicious poached Italian meatball with ricotta and parmesan. Right, meatballs first. So, the way I do meatballs is a ratio of minced beef and sausage meat. So you get the richness from the sausage meat, okay? And then we're gonna add some ricotta cheese in there. Gives it a really nice lightness. Now we've tested this recipe and it works really, really well. The ricotta is the game changer for me. In with some breadcrumbs. That will absorb the richness and make everything kind of whole. You could do gluten-free breadcrumbs if you like. They'll do the same job. You don't need the gluten in it. It's just to sort of suck everything together, all right? Bit like Spanx. Just sucks everything in. Scott Emily, that was. She's quietly behind the camera. No microphone today. But she is going to ask me some questions. Right, in with a free-range egg. That will help bind everything as well. And then I've got some garlic and some parmesan. We ought to season these bad boys up as well. So a bit of black pepper. Beef loves black pepper. So today I've got to think of all the questions that Emily might be asking and then answer them with the questioning. Go, Emily.
Yeah. The ricotta that you've used.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can?
You could probably use a bit of cream cheese if you wanted to. Mascarpone works as well, but it's a bit dense and a bit rich. I mean, you can make it without, but what it does is it just lightens it all up lovely. Right, garlic clove. And then chop that up. You'll have to bear with us. We haven't got the luxury of studio today. So all our wonderful camera angles are being made by Carlos. So just bear with us. Right, in we go there with some garlic. Now, our clever friends at Beefsteak have put their lovely Malbec wine in a can. So if you're out picnicking, barbecuing, cooking, and let me tell you, it is just as delicious from a can as it is from a bottle. Right, in that goes, and that will soak in to the breadcrumbs and just make it lovely. Okay, save that little bit there. I know somebody will want some of that. Right, hands in. They're clean, I've just washed them. And we're gonna mix all this together. So you're gonna make sure that you distribute all the pork and the beef together, all right? So I wouldn't use it, don't do it in a mixer, otherwise you'll end up with this sort of homogeneous mass. Just get your hands in, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. You can make double of these as well and freeze them. It's a great recipe for that. Emily's thumbs up because that was her question. We've been working far too long together, Emily Gray. You're turning into me and I'm turning into you. What is going on? Right, I just wash my hands down here with my magic sink. Now, for a little bit of seasoning, Parmesan cheese. Oh, and a lot of wind. Let's just do that a little bit lower. It's very windy today by the lake, but we shall persevere on. Because it's nice to get out of the studio. Right, there we go. So I've got a cast iron skillet on the heat. It's been getting hot for the past few minutes. Meatball mixture, completely mixed. You could do this, pop it in the fridge and leave it to rest. Absolutely fine. We're going to cook ours straight away. So in with some extra virgin olive oil into the pan. I've just got my chopping board there just to protect it against the wine. Against the wine, against the wind. Now you want to take your meatballs and roll them, but they all need to be about the same size, okay? So just pop them in, and we're only going to cook them on one side to begin with. All right? So roll them like that and straight into the pan. Don't be tempted to move them because we only want to cook one side because the other side of the meatball is going to poach in red wine and tomatoes. So we'll roll that out. And we'll just make enough for me, Emily and Carlos to have a little taste, because we've skipped lunch, haven't we?
Yes.
That was said with meaning, Emily. Okay. So this recipe as well is fab. Like, you could turn this into a meal, serve it up with some pasta, you know, you could serve it up with some lovely potatoes, whatever you fancy. Crusty bread to dip in. Might be able to find you some of that, Emily. Bit of crusty bread. Right, that'll do for the sake of today. Now, the recipe that we've posted on the ebook, if you want our ebook with all our recipes, make sure you type in the comments, free book, and it'll come down this side, and it'll launch into Facebook Messenger. Follow all the instructions and you will get our latest ebook with how many recipes, Emily, in there? 12?
Oh, yeah.
There's 12 recipes that are perfectly matched with Beefsteak Club wines. Okay, so let's get the lid on this in case any friendly doggies come and visit us. My dog would, for sure. Right, let's wash our hands. Right, I'll give that a quick wipe. Okay, so let's have a little look. So which one was the first one? That one. Almost ready. All right, let's turn these over very quickly, because you don't want the other side of the meatballs to cook. All right, not yet. So just turn them over. See how golden brown they are. Now, take your beefsteak wine and then just pour it in. Oh, look at that. And then I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes. We're going to add that in as well. Just scatter it around. And then we're going to let that boil and reduce down. The meatballs are just going to absorb the red wine. That beautiful Malbec wine is just going to soak into the meatballs as they cook. The sauce will reduce and intensify, and it'll be absolutely delicious. Right, the meatballs have poached. You can see that the sauce has reduced and it's intensified. It's time for the final touches. Now, my worktop's not fully straight, so bear with me. But what I like to do is I'll just turn that gas off, is take little bits of the ricotta that's left and just plonk it in the middle. So when you eat it, you get like these little wells of creamy ricotta cheese, so that everything's a little bit different. Honestly, it makes all the difference. So let's just pop those in there and then finish it with some Parmesan cheese. Wait for the wind. Whoa, there we go. Oh, crikey. And there you go. That is how you make my amazing poached Italian style meatballs cooked in tomato and beautiful Malbec wine from Beefsteak Club. Right, time for recipe number 2. Just 1 minute. So good, that wine. Right, chorizo sausage. This is the cured stuff. So this is almost like a salami, if you like, but it's Spanish. It's full of smoked paprika. The idea is that we've taken the inspiration of a Caesar salad and we've taken it on holiday to Spain. All right? So we are going to take our beautiful chorizo sausage and then basically just get it in the pan. Okay? And then we're going to add a little oil, and we want to just melt out the fats from the chorizo and get the flavour coming out. So you can see it's just starting to sizzle. You don't want a smoking hot pan. You want a hot pan where the fats can just melt out and give out their flavour, which is what we want. So while that's cooking, we've got a clove of garlic. So I'm just going to slice it up. Now remember, if you've got any questions about today's recipes, post them in the comments below and I'll answer them as quickly as I can. And don't forget, if you want the ebook, it's a free book with all the recipes from our Beef Steak Club series. Just type in the comments below, free book, it will launch into Facebook Messenger, follow the instructions, and it will automatically deliver you a PDF of all our recipes. Emily spent loads of time creating some beautiful images. You will love it. Right, in with our garlic. Oh, back to the kitchen on the next episode, I think, where everything's to hand, although I do love cooking out and about. I'm down by Derwentwater, which is in Keswick where I live. Right at the end, we've got Nickel End Marina and Ported Scale that way. We've got the launch and the theatre that way. We've got Borrowdale down there. It is just such a beautiful place to visit and to cook in. Right, so that's cooking away. What I'm going to do, I've got some stale bread here. It's a piece of focaccia or ciabatta bread. Just tear it by hand into little pieces. And we're going to get this into the pan. And this is going to create the most amazing croutons.
What breads do you use?
So you can use any kind of bread. All I would go for is like an open textured. So focaccia, ciabatta, sourdough, something like that. It's got lots of air pockets in, which make it a lighter, crispier, crunchier crouton. But, you know, at the end of the day, if all you've got is a bit of baguette, use that. I always encourage people to freeze their leftover bread that's gone a bit stale because there's so many different uses for bread. Right, in with our breadcrumbs or croutons. There we go. Give them a good shake, all right? We want the chorizo fat to seep into the croutons and then the heat of the pan to crisp it all up, okay? So while that's doing, what we're on the lettuce now, aren't we? So I've got a romaine lettuce here, so it's a nice big, crispy, crunchy salad leaf. You don't want soft, you don't want rocket in this, you don't want, you know, like watercress, you want crispy, crunchy, all right? So all we need to do is cut down the middle again. I just leave it literally like that and then let the whole thing break up. Just take that little core off. There we go. That's it. Just whack them in like that. For me, that's enough. I like the rusticness of it. We'll just hit it with a little bit of olive oil, not a lot, because we're going to get the dressing. And then we'll just season it up. I got a little bit of salt, not too much, but if you're going to season it with salt, don't add it too early. We're going to be eating this in a couple of minutes, all right? If you were going to eat this in an hour, that salt on there will draw the moisture out and wilt the lettuce. Okay, so don't add the salt unless you're ready to serve. And then black pepper, that doesn't matter so much. Okay, there we go. Lovely. Right, let's have a little look at these croutons. So if I stir these round, you can see the croutons have now got that lovely paprika red from it. And can I show you those? Look, Carlos, that's where the chorizo sausage has caught and started to caramelize and go lovely. Let's just whack a little bit of butter in there and that'll help everything go along. Butter makes everything better, doesn't it, Emily? Right, okay. So that couple more minutes on that, I've just got enough time. Manchego cheese. Beautiful Spanish cheese. Sheep's milk cheese traditionally, isn't it, Carlos?
Say again?
Sheep's milk cheese, isn't it?
Yep.
Traditionally. So, to keep with that sort of Spanish theme, we're just going to cut some of that up, just scatter it around. Don't worry about it, just chuck it in. This is not supposed to be a pretty, beautiful salad. This is supposed to be an amazing flavoured salad, all right? And it is so good. All about the flavour. Right. So my croutons are beautifully crispy and crunchy, and they've just kind of laced with the chorizo oil. You can see how orange they are. Lovely and crispy now. We need to get those out of the pan, okay? So out of the pan and in to the salad, okay? So just carefully grab them. You know, if it's too hot, leave it to cool down for a minute. That's fine, there's no rush, okay? I want to do this quickly because I want to get this back on the heat because we've got a couple more things to do. So there is your amazing croutons. Get your chorizo back on the heat, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to get the red wine. Now we're using our friends Malbec here, Beefsteak Club. For me, pound for pound, do the most incredible wine. This one's in a box. It is perfect for taking out on a picnic, honestly. It's really, really useful. 3 bottles, all in one box, easy to use. I've even tried it chilled. You may well have seen a previous episode that we did where we made a beautiful Spanish-style omelette. I've even tried a chilled version of this. I've put this box in the fridge. In a previous episode, we made a lovely Spanish-style omelette with manchego, potato, caramelized onions, beautiful, with a cold glass of Malbec. But today, we're going to get it in with our chorizo. So in with the wine. Now this is sort of inspired by a classic tapas dish where you would get chorizo and red wine served, and it is absolutely delicious. Right, the chorizo has just been boiling away in the red wine, and what's happened is the red wine has reduced and it is seeped into the chorizo, so it is packed absolutely with flavour. So let's turn that off and then just let it cool for a second, but fish out the chorizo and just serve that up there. And then you want to reduce the red wine down to almost a syrup, and that is our salad dressing. Okay, so it's almost like a lighter, summery version of the classic, you know, the chorizo and red wine, but we're serving it with super flavour loaded croutons and some lovely Romaine lettuce with some little creamy little nuggets of manchego cheese. Now, it absolutely deserves a beautiful wine with this one. This dish is designed to be drunk with this lovely Malbec. Oh, that's good. Now, remember, if you want the recipes, type in the comments below, free book, and it'll launch into Facebook Messenger. You know what to do by now. Follow all the instructions and it will deliver a PDF of a beautiful cookery book that Emily has worked on for the past few weeks. You will absolutely love it. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you tune into the next episode and I will see you soon.